This conference will now be recorded.
Well, good morning, everybody. I'm going to lift my glass and toast Blythe. I see you got that coffee cup out there. So good morning to you. I've not had my coffee yet, so looking forward to that soon. Try to stay away for a few more minutes. Good to see everybody on board. And I want to give a special commendation to those of you who are here today, because unlike most Thursdays, I did not send out a text reminder this morning. When I do that, I know it always doubles or triples our numbers. Today, I just didn't have time, and I wondered if anybody was going to be joining me. So delighted to see all of you guys here. Hey, let's talk for a quick minute about your big wins. What's going on? We'll open up for Q&A a little bit later, but just anything super exciting that you just can't wait to share with us. I should see green lights going off everywhere. Nancy, okay, there you go, Nancy, you're first.
Oh my gosh. So I'm so happy I finally got a signed contract for my first listing. Thank you. And
Awesome.
he was very difficult. He didn't want to pay the buyer side. He wanted to pay 2% total. And that's a struggle for me. Like I have a problem with that. And Frank, I felt like I absolutely needed to split that, but you told me keep the two for yourself and then just write a note in the agent remarks saying that, that they needed to seek compensation from their buyer and I wrote according to what is stated in the buyer's representation agreement, right?
Yes.
And but later I thought, gosh, there's nobody's going to show this house. It's already like $40,000 above what it should be.
Yes.
And so I did thankfully talk him into giving the buyer side 2%. I said, nobody's going to show this house. And I said, you can't, I said, I'm concerned. And the way I went about it, I just said, I'm concerned that there's not going to be a realtor who's going to want to, I think that they will persuade their clients to go in a different route, a different direction because of the price is so high and you're forcing them to work for free. I said, nobody wants to do that. I said, so I'm highly suggesting that you offer the buyer's side a commission. And so he did come back and he did do that. So he offered the 2%. And then he came down a little bit on the price, which I thought was really wise. And, so anyway, we got a contract and here's the best part. Y'all ready for this? I was so worried about the appraisal because, he was asking $295 for something, everything else in the neighborhood was, 230, 240, maybe 250. And, but these people came in, this offer came in, they're putting down $56,000 in cash. And so it's only going to be, they're only going to get the loan for 225. So I'm really hoping that this is going to work. And then hold on, there's more. He was so nice after that. And he's been really sweet. And he said, oh, and so, well, okay. I called and I said, so when would you like me to get started on selling your wife's house? Basically knowing that that's going to happen. He's like,
this is a divorce situation, right?
No, they're selling their houses and moving in together into a condo.
Oh, it's a good situation,
Yes.
triggering the sales. Okay.
Yes. So anyway, so I am going to sell his wife's house to him. We're going to start that listing in about 6 weeks. And then he said, do you think you can find my daughter a house? And I said, I think I can. So, God, it's been a good week for just, I feel like I've broken through this, seemed like what was just a wall that's been really making me just frustrated. So, yes, I'm happy.
Nancy, we're all happy with you. You handled that like a pro, getting him to go from 2% to 4%, negotiating a price reduction, and then asking for the referrals. Did y'all hear that? She actually asked, can I sell your wife's home? So boy, you just checked all the boxes. So well done, Nancy. That stuff doesn't happen by accident. So, okay, anybody else who wants to hit the green light? Blythe?
Yeah, so exciting things happening for me finally. The biggest, well, not the biggest thing, but one of the most exciting things was I've been helping this couple. I sold their house last year, and there was just no inventory. They were very specific on neighborhood and schools, and so they ended up leasing for a year. So we were kind of on a time crunch to try and find something before their lease ended.
Yep.
And I sent out like letters to the neighborhood that they were wanting to get into and trying to drum up some inventory for them because they were so specific. And I did end up getting a call off of the letters that I sent out, but the timing didn't work out. But like 2 days before they needed to give notice for their lease, a listing popped up. And we went to go see it first thing in the morning. We made an offer, the strongest offer I've ever written.
Yes.
And then we found out that following week that they didn't get it. And we were just really disappointed because we finally felt like that was it. That was going to be their house. And
Yes.
like I said, super strong offer. So we were disappointed. But then the very next day, the listing agent calls me, and it was like 9:30 at night. And he said, do your clients still want the house?
Oh,
And I said, yes, they do. So the other buyer backed out, and we were able to get them under contract. Their option period
Praise the
ended
Lord.
yesterday. I mean, just was totally a God thing. But you know, when you just know in your heart, like, this is it. And then it was like
Yes.
not it for like 24 hours.
It's
So
like,
it
what's
was
this
really
about?
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I remember Cheryl Vecchio said a couple of, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, we were at the office and she said something like, you know, if you're ever hurting for work, just go on vacation because that's what seems to be when you get busy.
Yes.
So we are traveling a ton this summer. And last week I got 2 calls for listings. And then I guess that was 2 weeks ago. And then last week I got another call when we were on our way out to Vegas, and I got a call for another listing. So I'm going to have 3 listings simultaneously. That's never happened to me before.
My
So
goodness.
I'm just very excited and feeling very blessed, finally feeling like all of these things that I've been doing for almost 2 years are coming to fruition.
Yeah. Well, activity does generate results, rarely on our timetable, but those seeds in the ground eventually start sprouting. So you just have to stay the course, keep doing the right thing, keep doing it, keep doing it. So many agents give up right before the breakthrough. So happy that that's coming together for you. Anybody else? All right.
I do want to
Yes.
mention one thing though about how I got this client, just for the record. I was inside my mom's house. My car was parked in her driveway, and this guy was walking down the street and he saw my magnet on my car.
Love
And
it.
he came and knocked on the door. So
Okay, so that's going to result in 3 listings because you had the magnet on the car. I hope
Exactly.
everybody is listening, right?
Exactly.
Yep. Don't be a secret agent, right? Be loud and proud. And my car is unmarked right now, so you might think, well, Frank, who are you to say that? But when I was selling, I had the back window of the truck that I drive today. I had a sign that covered the entire back window. It's one of those things I could see through for the rear view, but people looking at it was like a one-way sign. Always let people know what you do for a living. I've approached people in the parking lot of a grocery store who had a real estate sign on the side of their car. So I called. Oh, this is not real estate. I was in Wichita Falls last week, and I'm going to set my son's about to move into his house. Praise the Lord. We signed a contract April 1st of last year. He should close next week. This is how long it's been. But I'm going to set him up a beehive. And I'm driving down the road, and there's a guy that's got bee removal services, big sign, and I call him. I'm driving right next to him, and I call him, say, hey, where can I buy a queen bee, in Wichita Falls? So people do respond. So if you're not branded, even on your vehicle, I would encourage you to do that. All right. I don't want to shut anybody off who was eager to jump in. Anybody else? Okie dokie then. So let me share with you what I want to kind of talk about for a few minutes here today. And full disclosure, This is coming out of what was stirred up in me yesterday when I attended the all-day Coach Burt Person of Interest seminar. And it doesn't look like anybody on the call today was in that seminar. Let me just share with you, it was mind-blowing. It exceeded my expectations. I remember the last time I heard Coach Burt, I heard him twice that week that we had him for Power Monday. I just came back and changed everything in my business. Well, guess what? I'm doing a complete overhaul again. And in some respects, I almost feel reborn. You know, it's been, so many things have been tough for me over the last 6-9 months. And I just feel like I've got some energy and direction, and I made, these are my notes. I've got pages and pages of notes that I typed personally yesterday, including this whole first page, and the top of the second page is a to-do list that I created for myself at the seminar. So it was just really, really amazing. And by the way, Coach Burt has a YouTube channel with tons and tons of videos on there that you can just watch for free anytime. And I would encourage you to do it. The man has a gift. But what I want to talk about, yes, Nancy, anything I have, I share. So I'll be happy to do that. Let me think about how to do that, but yes, I'll share it. In my book, 1 Year, 6 Figures, I teach a plan for helping to determine what your household expenses are. You know, what is the monthly nut that you need to cover just to keep your bills paid? And then I lead you through a process of identifying more than just paying the bills. You know, what are my aspirations? You know, where are the places I want to travel? What are the causes that I want to be a benefactor to, that I want to make huge, significant contributions to? What is the lifestyle that I want to live? What kind of colleges or universities do I want to send my kids or grandkids to? And put together a financial plan to fund all of that. If you've been through 1 Year, 6 Figures, you have gone through that process. And in the end, you get a number that in order to fund my aspirational lifestyle, I need to generate this level of income every year. And then, as you know, we go through a process of identifying how many transactions will that take, and then where are those transactions going to come from? What are the sources of business I'm going to use? And then once I've identified the sources, what strategy will I use within each source to extract the business? That's the 1 Year, 6 Figures plan. But yesterday, Coach Burt caused my mind to go a step beyond that, because everything that I teach in that financial model requires you to be active selling real estate. That's all. It's a real estate sales business plan. And he was trying to stretch our beliefs about what's possible and asking us to consider developing a plan for passive income. Now think about that. Do we all want to work forever? You know, I don't know. We could. And I remember when I first got into real estate sales, I never have been able to put much money aside for retirement. I was either a pastor, just barely having enough to put soup on the table, or I was accumulating money in real estate management that I lost everything in the Florida real estate crash. So I remember in 2013 when I actually started selling real estate, and I said to my wife, I feel like the stress of preparing for retirement has fallen away, because as a real estate agent, I can work forever. I don't have to stop. There's no mandatory retirement age. I can be 75, hobbling around, 85 years old, and it's still legal for me to work and sell. And I thought that was good news. And it is good news. You know, we can scale down, scale up in this business. But the fact is, I would have to keep selling actively for the income to keep coming in. Now, if you do sell it at the required level to fund your aspirational lifestyle, then you have achieved what I call financial abundance. You have all that you need for your bills and for your aspirations. But I was challenged yesterday to move from financial abundance to what we could really call financial freedom. Financial abundance, you have enough active income to fund your aspirational lifestyle. Financial freedom, you have enough passive income to fund your aspirational lifestyle. Now, the beautiful thing about having passive income, and by the way, most people, if they ever achieve that in their lives, it's at what stage? Retirement. I see all of you saying that together, right? Retirement, when you finally get the pension check. But what do retirees have to do for the most part? And I realize we live in kind of a bubble up in this area, but the vast majority of people in the country, when they retire, they have to scale down their lifestyle, to meet their reduced income. Financial freedom says at whatever stage of life you hit it, whether it's in your senior years, mid years, young years, you now become work optional. Think about that. Now me, I love working. I will never, ever retire. I may go do something different. It may be volunteer work. It may be back in a church ministry or something of that nature, but it is not in my DNA just to sit in a lazy boy chair and watch daytime soap operas. It's not in I'm not wired that way. However, I want to reach a point where I don't have to work, where I don't have to generate income. Does that make sense? I want to be work optional. And that's the place that Coach Burt was trying to take us yesterday. And even though I'm not going to cram 8 hours of seminar into, my 5-minute passion speech, I do want to kind of just share with you a couple steps. If this is something that interests you, there's a couple things that you can do to kind of set yourself up to know the basic metrics that you need to have in mind, that subconsciously, if you focus on that, you'll start moving towards doing things that start that passive revenue flow. So just a couple suggestions to get started. First of all, if you haven't recently, calculate what it costs on an annual basis to fund your aspirational lifestyle. The exercise that we go through in 1 year, 6 figures. What is that number? Is it 85,000 a year, 185,000 a year? What is your number, okay, to fully fund that? And then from that number, you can subtract any guaranteed income sources that you already have. And some of you may have a pension. You may have a trust fund. You may have an oil well. And I'm not joking. One of our agents has an oil well. Okay, he doesn't go pump the oil. He just walks to the mailbox and gets the checks. Okay, so you may be in a situation like that. Some of you have been investing in real estate. Good for you. I mean, if we don't buy it ourselves, how can we sell it? So that, even though income like that is often called passive, I recognize that when you go, unclog a toilet on a Saturday night, that could be considered some active work. But nevertheless, we're going to call that passive income for our purposes. So you deduct all that from your annual number, your financial abundance number, and what is left is the amount of money that you need to generate passively to create financial freedom, to become work optional. So you have to start with that number. Otherwise, we're just fooling ourselves. If you don't have a goal, if you don't have a target, then there's no way you can build a path to get there. So that's your target. And then I want to encourage you to ask yourself 2 questions. And I don't want to blame Coach Burt for this, because he didn't actually lead us down the path that I'm taking you now. He kind of introduced some big ideas, and I'm kind of going more granular than he did. But once you have your number, then secondly, identify how much excess you could save from your current income. So, if you're making 120,000, but you only need 100 to live on, formulate a plan to set that excess aside. And you're going to use that to invest in income producing assets to go get your first rental home, for example, that kind of thing. And you could do it with $20,000, well, maybe a little bit more, but you're using leverage and financing. You're pretty close to getting your house there. So figure out how much you can save or set aside from your current income to fund passive income projects. And then the third thing I would say is think about any ways that are currently available to you that you could create that would generate passive income. Okay, I'm not talking about saving money. That was number 2. Now I'm saying, what could you do right now to generate passive income? Now let me just pause right there. I can share a couple ideas around these things if that's helpful, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you have any thoughts about passive income opportunities that are available to people in our profession or in this economy? What are your thoughts? Or even feedback generally on the concept of that being a worthy goal of financial freedom, of being work optional. Any thoughts? Have I overwhelmed you? Did I take it too far? Go ahead.
You know what I'd love to do? I would love to honestly go and teach these kind of really cool classes, because it's just like going and visiting. And I love, talking and getting up in front of people and teaching and stuff. And like Coach Burt, I mean, he made at least $25,000 in one day yesterday.
Every day.
So you see what I'm saying? So I would love to do something like that, honestly, something where I could go and just be around people and bring something of value to someone and just make a fortune off of it. That's what I'd like to be doing.
So that's active income, okay? But if you could generate 25,000 in active income, you might have some excess to set aside for income producing assets. And by the way, I see Annie has joined us. Annie was in the seminar yesterday, so she can jump in at any time that she wants to as well. Any other thoughts? I'm gonna share a couple suggestions with you, but I just wanted to see if there's anything on your mind about what you could be doing now to get this passive engine started. Anybody? Other than purchasing investment real estate, which we already put on the table. Yes, Amadur, are you with us there, buddy?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm trying to understand and learn more. I have not joined the meeting for quite a few times. I have one question, but that's nothing to do with the ideas you're looking for income generation. I have an overseas client. Now, do I need to do anything special for overseas clients? Actually, the client is not a permanent resident and he's not a citizen.
Okay, so Amadur, let's hold that. We're going to go to our open Q&A in just a minute.
Okay.
Let me wrap up this current discussion and then we'll answer your question first. Okay.
Sure.
So let on this whole subject of passive income, let me remind you that one of the incredible and unique benefits we have available to us as EXP agents is the ability to generate revenue share from other agents that we attract into the company. And that is truly passive income, because all we're doing is inviting, just come check it out. And we don't even have to explain what EXP is about. In fact, I would encourage you not to. Just invite to events. Our next Power Mondays on July 11th. We got Kunal Seth as our speaker. He is amazing. 2 days ago, we had our lunch and learn. It was our best attended lunch and learn ever. I think we had 7 prospects. One of them is a hairdresser who's not going to join. The other 6 all committed to joining while they were there. It was powerful. So all you have to do is invite, just invite. And every single time that agent has a closing for the rest of their life and your life, you're going to get paid a 3.5% referral fee. That is true passive income. Okay. It's amazing. So just think about that. And then I'm going to throw something else out there, and I'm not speaking out of turn now because I actually have the contracts, but I have been working for several months with an attorney to set up an EXP style revenue share program with our mortgage company. And we now have it. It's in place. I'm starting the rollout. In fact, yesterday, the broker owner of a 78 agent office told me he's going to participate, and we're going to get every one of their loans. Why? Because every time they send us a loan, he's going to get us a check. He is going to get a check. And it's all legal, RESPA compliant, all that kind of stuff. So if you have some interest in that, let me know, and I'll share with you the details on it. I don't want to go into it here. I just want to say that within EXP, you all know about that passive income opportunity. And with Jackson Henry, we're replicating that same concept in the mortgage industry. And if the early indications are a sign of what's to come, it is going to be a game changer. It's going to make a bunch of people wealthy. So anyways, that's what I'm stirred up about. I hope maybe I get you thinking a little bit along those lines as well. So while we're generating active income, let's get our passive income sources going so that ultimately we move from abundance to freedom and become work optional, where we just do what we love and are passionate about. Okay, so let's move, turn a page here. We're going to go into open Q&A. We're going to talk about anything that's on your mind. And Amador said that he has a client who is a foreign national. And if I understood the question, Amador, is do you need anything special from that client in order to purchase a home? Is that the question, Amador?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Amador, will they be paying cash or will they be financing the purchase?
It is no financing, full cash. And another thing probably will happen. He may not be available during the transaction. So maybe he has to do some power of attorney type of document to somebody else to sign for him.
Yes. So that would, to the first part of your question, no special documentation is needed. Foreign nationals are absolutely permitted to buy property in this country. They would just need to, document who they are, to the satisfaction of the title company that prepares the deed, so that they can provide assurances to the appraisal district about who that buyer actually is. Like we all do when we buy property, we have to bring some type of government issued identification. In their case, it could be their own foreign national identification. So the second question was, I believe you said they may not be here for the closing. They can talk to your title company. They should be able to draft what's called a real estate power of attorney that empowers somebody else to sign those documents on their behalf. It's not a general power of attorney that allows them to do anything for that person, but just to sign those real estate documents. The other option for foreign nationals is that they can go to the U.S. Embassy in their home country and there have the documents notarized. And I've seen that done before, but it is far better if the real estate power of attorney option is available and there's somebody locally that they trust to sign for them. But there's 2 options there. Does that answer your question, Amador?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for getting things stirred up and started. Who else has a issue or question you want to put on the table? Mhm. Ralph, how are you doing today? Oh, you got to turn your mic on. We're not very good lip readers. There you go.
Very good. Thank you for asking.
Very good. Okay, so what's going on in your real estate business, Ralph?
Well, I had started off the year great with about 4 homes to sell, and they eventually fell off for one reason or another, having to do with a delay in credit, or unfortunately, one of them was due to a divorce. So that will be done eventually, but not this
Yes.
year.
Yes.
And so things kind of fell off, and then uh, just managed to get one rental in the last 2 months that closed Monday.
Okay.
And I've got another sale going on right now in Katy that'll close sometime in August or September.
Okay. Well, congratulations. I hear in your voice you want more business. That's a good thing. I would encourage you, Ralph, do what you can to leverage these current transactions to get more business, kind of like Nancy did. Ask them, is there anything else you can do to help them with their real estate needs? Maybe they're interested in purchasing investment real estate. Do you know, this is shocking. It's still hard for me to believe this, but I've heard it from multiple sources. HAR reported that 40% of purchases in Houston in the last 12 months were to investors. That is shocking to me. But it helps to explain why ordinary families find it nearly impossible to buy a house right now. The investors sucking up all the inventory and turning them into rentals. So, but definitely ask for those referrals. Ralph, the deals that you've had, even the ones that fell apart this year, what was the source of those relationships? How did you know those people?
They were all referrals.
Okay.
People that had either known me from handling somebody else's business, or I follow up on buyers that
Yes.
bought houses from me in the
Yes.
past.
Yes.
I just, even if I had no representation there, I was dealing from the seller side. I still follow up on them in a year and, hey, your house going all right, or something to that effect.
Yes, we call those the orphan clients.
Yeah.
Because they have been abandoned by their real estate agent. And so when in a cross sale situation, absolutely retain the contact information on the other party, put them into your sphere of influence, begin dripping on them with all of your sphere marketing activities. Within a few months, they'll think that you were their agent who represented them on the transaction. And by the way, there is no ethical concern there, because the representation agreement that their former agent had with them ended with the transaction. So you are, after the closing, you are perfectly free to reach out to them by any means, and there's no interference involved. So adopt those, or we know statistically the vast majority of those real estate clients are never going to hear from their agent again. So you step in and fill the gap and provide for them just like you do your own clients, and they're likely to become your clients. So great work, Ralph. Great work. Rochelle, what's going on in your business? You're looking for that little green light button, aren't you? Oh,
Yes.
there you go.
It's going very slowly. It's slow, but I'm still plugging away and doing marketing and all of that stuff. I haven't been doing as much as I need to do with the transition, with the kids being out with the summer and all their programs and stuff. So a lot of this is on me because I have other things I have to deal with.
Yeah, boy, I understand that, Rochelle. I see Blythe is identifying with that as well. You know, there's seasons in all of our lives. I would encourage you, and this is for everybody, I would encourage you as much as possible, maintain some type of minimum activity standard for yourself, even through the summer. And Coach Burt made an interesting observation yesterday. He said he used to have a spend a day with Coach Burt program where people would pay $5,000 just to watch him work for one day. And he would tell them in advance, I'm not going to talk to you. Don't talk to me. I'm working. You're just observing. We'll have lunch. You can ask questions then. But otherwise, you're just the fly on the wall. And he said invariably at the end of the day, the observation from the client who paid $5,000 would be, I don't work like you. I'm not that focused. I'm not that productive. I don't get that many phone calls in. I don't get that many conversations in. I don't initiate that many text messages. I don't follow up on that many leads. The point is he just squeezed the productivity out of every moment, which it's always been my core conviction. We have a moral obligation to do that because when we're working, we're away from our families. So shouldn't we squeeze every little opportunity out of that time, everything we can, as much as possible, get out of those hours so that then we can go back to our families knowing that we're providing for them. So set some minimum activity standards. No matter what else is going on in my world today, I'm going to call 5 people from my sphere of influence. I'm going to call 5 prospects. I'm at least going to make a social media post and promote a new listing. I'm going to do something, some minimum level of activity that keeps us in the game. Blythe?
Yeah, I just want to hop in on this because it's something I'm super passionate about, especially as women and mothers. We face a totally different challenge. No offense to any men in the group. But it is entirely possible for you to get the things done that you need to get done in the pockets of time that you have in between all the things that you're doing. We talk a lot about this in my small group mastermind, but you've got to time block yourself so that when you do have those little pockets of an hour or 2 hours, or even if it's just 30 minutes, you already know in your mind, okay, that's what I'm doing when I'm sitting in, the pickup line to pick up my kids from camp this week. This is what I'm getting done. So you have a plan in place. It doesn't always go perfectly as mothers. Something's always going to come up. But if you can always move that to another time pocket that you have available in your schedule, but you just have to take control of your calendar, or else you're going to end up doing laundry instead of, focusing on something else that's going to make you money.
Absolutely. And if you leave that pile of laundry there, who knows, your husband may stumble over it at some point, start folding some clothes. It could happen. So I want to
Only if
follow.
you have a husband. The single parenting thing, it's still going to be there for me.
Well, you're right, Rochelle. You just took it to another level. So
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say someday my prince will come and start doing the laundry. That'd be great.
we can all dream. So I'm gonna take it a little bit further. What Blythe said. She said time blocking. Set aside some of that time. Find those little pockets of time and exploit those. And I want to say I don't even know if this applies to anybody on the call. So I'm just casting this out to the universe. I think this is a general indictment of real estate agents. We don't work hard enough. And I know that's a harsh statement. I'm going to let that sink in. If you work for Bank of America or, Exxon Mobil, they're going to expect you to be in the office a minimum of 8 hours a day of focused activity. Well, this is our full-time job. Are we literally giving it a minimum of 8 hours a day of focused activity? And I realize some of y'all, I'm going to talk to you, Rochelle, you're a single mom, and perhaps you got into real estate because you don't have 8 hours a day to give. So I'm not pushing you on that, but I am saying sometimes there is more in us than what we think. If you were to all sign up for the Army and go to boot camp, you would learn you can live on less food, you can live on less sleep, and you can run much further than you ever dreamed your body was possible of. Okay, they will find stuff in you that you didn't know was there. I'll give you a little personal example. I broke my foot in 4 places 2.5 years ago. Have not exercised since then. And that's a pure excuse, because even if I couldn't work my foot, I could have done other things. Okay, well, I all things in time, I decided it's time. So, but I don't have time. This is true. I don't have time to exercise. I work hard. When I get home, Mary's got a full agenda for me, trust me. And it has sometimes to do with that laundry. So where am I going to find the time? I'm getting up at 4:30 every day. Okay. There's no time when I get up at 5:30 to exercise. So I just backed it up an hour, and guess what? It's going fine. My body adjusted, kind of like Army boot camp, adjusted almost instantly. Now I have to make sure I'm going to bed, at a decent hour to do that. But honestly, after 9 o'clock, my mind is so frazzled I can't work anyway. I'm nothing but a couch potato after 9 o'clock anyway. I'm just falling asleep to the Netflix. So why don't I just go to bed and get good rest and then pop up fresh in the morning? So I'm just throwing out there, I'm not saying it applies to anybody on this call, but just consider if there might be a little bit more in the tank that you're keeping in reserve. And maybe during this time when it's slow and you could push it, use that extra time, build your database. If it's during the day, make those calls, send emails, send text messages, do the proactive outreach. If we wait for those phones to call, it's going to be a lonely, lonely business. So whatever you can do to push the envelope and make it happen. Well, there we go. We're about out of time. I am going to say, is there anything else somebody was wanting to put on the table? Tom, I may have seen your light earlier. Yeah, there it is. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I have a customer that has some investment money from selling a house, and what they want to do is they want to do a new home flip, which is go find a piece of land in a subdivision, buy it, get a construction loan, build a house, and sell the house to somebody before it becomes available, before it's actually finished built. And I'm wondering, has anybody done that? And can give some input on it. Help me with it.
Seems like materials are so sky high right now that it just seems like it might be difficult to get like a good amount of money back on it. I mean, that's just my opinion because, I do know about the construction materials right now.
They're building them for $130 a square foot and selling them for $220 right now. That's the market. So it seems to be a really good market on a new home.
Well, if they can build for 130, do it all day long.
Well, your son built for 130, I believe you told me.
We signed a contract April 1st last year, and there's been over 100,000 of appreciation on the property between the time we signed the contract and the time we'll close next week. So but that's the game builders can play right now, or like your friend, the investor builder, because it will probably take a year to, you know what? There's one empty lot in my neighborhood, and I don't know where they got these crews, but that thing is going up like lightning. It's shocking to me how quickly that one's going up. It looks like it's going to be a 90-day build, rather than a 14, 15 months. So maybe there are some people who have the ability to get to market quickly, but Tom, back in the run-up days of the big boom, I'm going back 06, 07, 08. It was very common in Florida for people to do exactly what your friend is doing. They buy 5 lots in a new neighborhood. By the time they're at slab stage, they put them under contract to sell. They sell 4 of them, and with the profits from the 4, they paid off the 5th. So now they have a home free and clear that they could sell for full price profit or put into their investment portfolio. So I don't know of anybody doing that right now, Tom, but I do know it's a legitimate investment strategy. And if you can build at 130 a square foot, this is probably the time to do it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, I have appointments lined up that I need to get to, and I know y'all have lots of calls to make. So let me know anytime I can help you. I am here the rest of the day and would love to help you any way I can. God bless. Have a great day.
Thanks, Frank.
My pleasure.
Bye.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.